how are you this evening? I'm here tonight in my home office again, and tonight I have a special guest. I brought my dog Banana to come read with you. I think we're just going to have a new friend visit every single time we do a reading from now on. So tonight's book is The Man Who Walked Between the Towers. And this is a Caldecott Medal winner, which means that it received an award for the illustrations in the book. So I'll make sure that you get to see all of the beautiful pictures that this book has. The Man Who Walked Between the Towers by Mordecai Gerstein. Once there were two towers, side by side. They were each a quarter-mile high, 1,340 feet, the tallest buildings in New York City. A young man saw them rise into the sky. He was a street performer. He rode a unicycle. He juggled balls and fiery torches. But most of all, he loved to walk and dance on a rope he tied between two trees. He looked not at the towers, but at the space between them, and thought, what a wonderful place to stretch a rope, a wire on which to walk. Once the idea came to him, he knew he had to do it. If he saw 3 balls, he had to juggle. If he saw 2 towers, he had to walk. That's how he was. Hadn't he danced on a wire between the steeples of Notre Dame Cathedral above his amazed home city, Paris? Why not here, between these towers? Of course, he knew that as in Paris, the police and the owners of the towers would never allow it. You must be crazy, they would say. You'd fall for sure. And so Philippe, that was the young man's name, began a plan to do it secretly. The buildings are not quite finished, he thought. Maybe if I dressed as a construction worker. Early on an August evening, he and a friend entered the South Tower. They got a 440-pound reel of cable and other equipment into the elevator, took it to the unfinished top 10 floors, and waited until nightfall when everyone had gone. Then they carried everything up 180 stairs to the roof. At midnight, on the other tower's roof, 2 more friends tied a thin, strong line to an arrow and shot it across to Philippe, 140 feet away. It missed and landed on a ledge 15 feet below the roof. Bad luck, thought Philippe. He crawled down to the ledge, over the sparkling city, and got the arrow. To its line he tied a stronger line, which his friends pulled back to their tower. To his end of the stronger line, Philippe tied the cable on which he would walk. It was 5/8 of an inch thick, so just over half an inch thick. His friends pulled the cable over to their tower, but it was so heavy that it slipped from Philippe's grip. The cable's middle plummeted toward the street, pulling his friends on the other tower to the very edge. Philippe, just in time, secured his end. It took 3 hours to pull the cable back up. Frantically, as the stars faded, they tightened it between the towers. It was past dawn before they were ready. Philippe put on his black shirt and tights. He picked up his 28-foot balancing pole. All his life he had worked to be here, to do this. As the rising sun lit up the towers, out he stepped onto the wire. I have to make sure I can fit this whole page in there. That's a pretty cool view, isn't it? Out to the very middle he walked, as if he were walking on air itself. Many winds whirled up from between the towers, and he swayed with them. He could feel the towers breathing. He was not afraid. He felt alone and happy and absolutely free. A woman coming from the subway might have been the first to see him. Look, someone walking on a wire between the towers. Everyone stopped and looked up. They gasped and stared. It was astonishing. It was terrifying and beautiful. A quarter of a mile up in the sky, someone was dancing. Police saw it too. Officers rushed to the roofs of the tower. "You're under arrest," they shouted through bullhorns. Philippe turned and walked the other way. Who would come and get him? For almost an hour, back and forth, he walked, danced, ran, and knelt in a salute upon the wire. He even lay down to rest. The city and harbor spread beneath him. The sky surrounded him. Seagulls flew under and over. As long as he stayed on the wire, he was free. When he felt completely satisfied, he walked back to the roof and held out his wrists for the handcuffs. They brought him to court. The judge sentenced him to perform in the park for the children of the city. This he did happily, though during his performance, some boys playing on his wire jerked it and Philippe fell, but caught himself. Now the towers are gone. But in memory, as if imprinted on the sky, the towers are still there. And part of that memory is the joyful morning, August 7th, 1974, when Philippe Petit walked between them in the air. Can any of you imagine doing that, walking that high between the towers? I definitely couldn't. I'm not really afraid of heights, but it's not something that I would do without something underneath me to catch me, that's for sure, or a rope that was holding me up. I definitely wouldn't do anything that risky. So I want you all to think about something that would scare you, that you might still be willing to do. Think about that and tell Ms. Sauve, and she's going to tell me all of your answers. I will see you all again soon, and I hope you're all behaving yourselves and reading a lot and enjoying yourselves. If you haven't gotten them already, Miss Sauve and I put together packages for you that have some of the books that you would have chosen in them. So those should be coming your way soon if you haven't already received them. I hope you all enjoy the books that we picked out for you, and we'll definitely find a way to get you more books within the next month or two. So enjoy those while you have them, and be good and stay happy and healthy.